Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar. With me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
We recommend things to each other one week, and then we come back the next week to grade them on a scale of 1 to 3 based on how much it is up our individual alleys. Right now, I'm winning with 55 points to Jake's 54 points. This week, we are talking about Jake's recommendation, the final in his horror movie classic quadrilogy that he's had me do for the past 3 weeks.
Happy Halloween afterwards.
After Halloween, shortly there. Happy early daylight savings time.
Perfect.
There it is. Why do we still do that?
Oh, because people are so curmudgeon-y.
Here's the deal.
So
it's always a hot take on the internet. Like, everyone's like, oh, this is so dumb that we do that. We're the only country that does this. We're the only ones that do whatever. And so many people have hot takes about daylight savings time.
yeah.
I don't care. It's like an inconvenience once for an hour, and then you're done.
If they stopped it, that would be nice.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's wild that there's pushback.
Yes, it's weird that people
That's
get
what I'm
so
upset
up in
about.
arms about it. It's like, this is your thing that you're getting upset about?
It's like, this is for farmers.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? They could still wake up early.
Yeah. And we're still not on the metric system, which makes so much sense. Now that I've actually been baking stuff instead of my normal method of cooking, where you're just like, a pinch of this, a pinch of that, using like grams
baking.
and everything for like writing down a recipe. It's like, I need this many grams of flour, this many grams of yeast.
Isn't that just a different way of cooking that's kind of fun?
It's nuts. And a gram is a lot smaller than you think it is.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a lot depending on what you're doing. It makes perfect sense, but like a tablespoon of chocolate chips is the same as a tablespoon of salt. They don't weigh the same. So it's fun. What the fuck were we talking about? We got distracted. Oh, yeah. Jake's recommendation, 1973's classic, The Exorcist. And my recommendation from Jake, which was a alley-oop recommendation from a fan email. You can write us an email at upyouralleypod@gmail.com. The 2007 Brazilian action movie Elite Squad. We'll be talking about those things. Be sure to like the show on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Leave us a review and tell your friends about the show, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at upyouralleypod. Woo. Call to action, motherfuckers. YouTube as well.
It's just CTA. That's how I see it now.
Really?
They just go CTA.
You're so deep in the business. It's just a CTA.
I just
now.
watch YouTube a lot, and then sometimes the people that I'm listening to, they go, all right, CTA, and then they say the stuff.
They just like Ron Burgundy it, where they're reading the teleprompter, or is that like a cool
kind of like that? Yeah, it's cool now to notice that
you're hanging a lantern on it, so it's like, oh, this is a call to action.
Exactly,
that's pretty cool
because they're embarrassed by it, and I get it. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, so we're just like, this is so dumb. I have to read this ad for whatever. It's not. You should read ads. Ads are good.
I mean, ads are fun. It shows that people have, some faith in you.
Yeah,
that you were reaching,
and we have faith in products.
Yeah.
So, speaking of faith in good things, I want to thank everyone that came out last Monday to the Philip A. Hughes Foundation Philippalooza Golf Tournament. Jake and I were there. Fun to see some people that listen to the show.
Yeah,
and
that was really awesome.
We got a lot of footage and a lot of audio, about 4 hours worth of audio.
I'm pretty sure it was 4 hours.
A lot of it was quiet when Jake and I were waiting for people to hit. It's a charity golf tournament, and then about 45 minutes in, I decided to go get us a golf cart, and so it became a mobile podcast recording session.
So then there's probably an hour of just bumping and road noise.
Yep. And then
because we would put it down to go out and take video footage.
Right. So I'm going to edit that. I know I said last week there'll be a bonus episode. It's not. Trust me. It's nothing. It's nothing to listen to, and it's harder to edit than I would have thought it was.
It was just so much fun to do. Just because.
Oh, it was a blast.
Philippalooza is an awesome event, and it's always nice to see everybody there. And
charity is always a good thing.
Yeah.
This one's the best because it helps little kids get music lessons and musical instruments if they can't afford them, which I think is fucking great.
We had a hole sponsored by us out there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it gave us a lot of good ideas for next year.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of fun ideas for things we'd like to do, as the kids would say, IRL.
Yeah. Earl. Goodbye, Earl.
They already shortened IRL to Earl?
No, I did.
Oh, you just did.
Yeah.
You're so on the cutting edge, Jake. Got that youthful vigor.
Just me and the Dixie Chicks calling it Earl.
Oh, shit, I just got that. Yep, that's funnier it's funnier than I gave it credit for. What else? I finished Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Jake hasn't finished it yet, so we'll talk about it at some point.
We could talk about... Well, I mean,
I won't do full
I'm
story
not spoilers,
so
dude.
I know you're not, but I feel like
Alan Wake 2 would upset me if somebody told me, but not too much. Because it's
I want you to
definitely
finish
the
Alan Wake,
experience.
and we'll talk about it next week because you've stopped playing Spider-Man to play Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit on Monday at the tournament, and you're fucking deep into it.
I'm telling you, this will probably be the only game that I will 100%.
Yeah, get that platinum.
Then I haven't done this since Tomb Raider Legends on the Xbox 360.
Jesus.
And that was because that one was easy.
Fair.
Because I do it on hard on time trial. And I was like, I did that by accident.
It's like when you would get like a cheat in GoldenEye, you're like, oh, there I was racing? Yeah. Like, I didn't even know. Now I've got DK mode. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But I'll say this about Spider-Man. There was so much hype for it. The first 2 games I've talked about on here. And we also have a fun little Let's Play on YouTube of Jake and I playing Spider-Man from 1994.
Yeah, I had fun with that.
Jake got hilariously frustrated, and Frustrated Jake is one of my favorite Jakes. But
let's play more classic games. I get super frustrated.
Absolutely.
You want to see me so mad? The maddest I've ever gotten at a video game is 2 games. Burnout 3 Takedown, and...
Was that like Road Rash, kind of?
It's a racing game where you're encouraged to ram other racers.
Kind of like Road Rash.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's fantastic, but it's unbelievably frustrating. And then Ninja Gaiden 2, which is horrifyingly frustrating.
That was a subject of a recent Summoning Salts that I think we talked about.
Yeah, 2 was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I love that game.
Don't play that game.
But it's not in the caliber of Game of the Year, which I think there are some games that I'm obviously going to put above this.
Yeah.
It was a great game, though. I think if you like the first 2, it's more of that.
The first one?
It's not reinventing anything.
Yeah.
You get more characters. It's more Spider-Man. It's really like if there was a really good Spider-Man movie and they made a sequel to it.
Yeah.
It's just that. It's what you like. It's what you came there for. The story's good.
I honestly don't try to use the glide as much as possible.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, right.
You like the web, or you don't like the web wings.
No.
Yeah.
It's just flying now.
Yeah.
And like that's cool.
It just makes you like a shitty Superman almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just swinging is just way
and
way
it's fun.
cooler. Yeah.
I beat the story mode this morning. I've probably got, judging by what I think it takes for the platinum, I've got like 2 more hours to just clean up.
Yeah.
Just going around and doing the last little bit of stuff.
Right.
But I wanted to power through the story. And it changes some things in Spider-Man lore. It sets up...
I will also say that I can't remember his name.
Miles Morales?
No, when you're taking photos for... the guy that worked at the Bugle before.
Oh, yeah, not Perry White. It's the Daily Bugle's Perry White, essentially.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. All right, just keep talking. Go ahead.
So whenever you take a photo, he has to chime in with the dullest story that I've ever heard. And it's always like you take a picture of people playing basketball. He's like, here in New York City, they play basketball out on the streets.
He did just have like some...
Only in New York will you find a sandwich shop that is also across from another sandwich shop. And I'm like, this is
it
annoying.
keeps popping up J.K. Simmons. Not J.K. Simmons.
No.
Fuck, this is going to bug me.
Yeah. I can't believe I forgot his name.
You Google it while I talk about the game.
Okay. Go ahead.
Shit, this is a little tag team of both of us being upset because we can't.
This is the comic book part of it.
Yeah.
You talk about the game some more.
So the story mode was good. It was nice to see some characters. I love seeing Kraven the Hunter. I think they did that character very well. It's a character that hasn't really been done super well until Aaron Taylor Johnson fucking knocks it out of the park whenever that Kraven movie comes out.
So how was the moment when you get to play as Kraven being Spider-Man?
Oh, so do you just want to go spoilers?
Is that in there?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, no.
I was making a joke.
No, he's just Kraven. He's basically the
best
secondary antagonist.
Yeah, but the best thing that Kraven did was take over as Spider-Man for a little bit. To be
yes, he did do that.
What is Spider-Man?
Although Dr. Octopus took over as Peter Parker for a while.
Yes, he did.
And
everybody wants to be Spider-Man.
Well,
and you know what? Doc Ock did a fine job too. I didn't hate it when he was
for Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it's
I didn't hate Spectacular Spider-Man.
Robbie Robertson.
Yep. There you go.
I googled it first.
Good man.
I kept wanting to say Ben Urich, but I'm like, no, that's fucking Daredevil.
Yeah.
But the world's great. I love the character of Miles Morales. I think it's fantastic, and it kind of sets it up that
Miles is so good.
He's going to be the main guy in the third one. Like, Peter's
dead.
He's not dead, but he's in the Peter Parker mode where he's like, time to be Peter Parker now, and maybe not be Spider-Man. Him and Mary Jane are like doing stuff.
If I was Spider-Man, if I was Peter,
Mm-hmm.
I would set it up so that one Spider-Man gets shot in the head, and now they have no worries that he's coming back.
Exactly.
Just fill a dummy up, put your costume around it,
Mm-hmm.
and like shoot it in the head on top of the Empire State Building,
Right.
and then people are like, "Oh God, Spider-Man's dead."
But they teased at the end that they're gonna go more into the expanded Spider-Verse, which it has expanded a lot since. I mean, I was weekly reading Spider-Man probably when the Ultimate Universe started.
Yeah.
Whenever that was, like 2002.
Another really good Spider-Man run.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The beginning of the Ultimate Spider-Man run was fantastic.
Yes.
But I like it. I don't think it's a game of the year. I know it's not mine because there are games that have come out this year that I've liked more.
Yeah.
I'm excited to start being able to play a little Mario Wonder now that I'll clean this game up probably tomorrow.
I still haven't heard Mario's new voice. I still don't know what it's like.
It's just Mario.
Hi, it's me, Mario.
No, I mean, it sounds more of the same. It's like changing out the Rick and Morty voices. It's like, okay, yeah, you'll settle into it in just a minute. Yeah, exactly. See, you could have done this, Jake.
I could have.
Did you see Chris Pratt's the voice of Garfield now, too?
Oh, my God.
They're making a new Garfield. And
Why
it's
is
just
he a voice actor?
It's not like I understand. It's like, why is Nick Kroll in all these voice actors? Because he does a lot of weird voices. Like,
Yeah,
but
but
Chris
Nick
Pratt's
Kroll-
always just Chris Pratt.
Yeah, exactly. Nick Kroll's got characters. that
Yeah.
he
Like,
does
I finished the
different
new
voice
season
for.
of Big Mouth. Great show.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
You know, Big Mouth is a great show.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
I stopped after the second season.
They just finished season 8.
Not because I hated it,
No.
but because it just like ran out of steam for me.
It's fine.
But there's great jokes and it's got Zooks in it.
Yeah.
I'll watch anything with Jason Mantzoukas in it.
That's true.
When it shows up, I'm like, oh, there's another point to it.
Yeah. Speaking of things, TV shows that we've been watching, we just both finished the second season of Shoresy.
That's true.
Now available to watch on Hulu.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Shoresy, I will say this. I came to this conclusion after finishing the second season.
Yeah.
A show that I haven't really seen it compared to a lot, but it really strikes the same chord for me is Ted Lasso. I know you haven't seen Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I haven't.
But it's Ted Lasso is a set about a fictionalized version of a professional sports team.
Yeah.
But it's the Premier League or whatever in England versus the No Show, the Northern Ontario Senior Hockey Organization. So obviously the stakes are lower in Shoresy, but just the way it uses sports, in this case hockey, to tell a story about people that are involved in it and how these people are involved with each other, and just having a common goal shared by a bunch of very different people.
Yeah.
Shoresy is a better show than Ted Lasso. Like, Ted Lasso can
Yeah.
get all the Emmys it wants. I'll die on this hill.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso is a good show.
Yeah.
Watch the first 2 seasons of Shoresy. They're both 6 episodes each. It's on Hulu or Crave if you're in Canada.
I'm
I think it's
biased.
some of the best TV
Yeah,
I've
I'm
seen in a while.
biased, and like I already love Letterkenny. And that's
Yes.
why I wanted to watch Shoresy, and I think it's him, Jared Kiso writing a linear story is pretty good because I like the way that he does it.
There are some episodes of
There's
Letterkenny that are just
problems.
like extended sketches.
Yes.
It's like a 20-minute sketch.
There's plenty of bottle episodes, which I think is fantastic,
And they're all great.
but him having a different writing style
Get some
is
emotions.
really cool.
Yeah.
The emotions that he puts into it is pretty great. I like how there's problems that persist through multiple episodes that
Like, Michaels is acting weird.
yeah. Goalies are always weird. But like they're solved pretty easily.
Yeah.
And there's like very low stakes. Being the no show, it feels like low stakes.
Right.
It's just a fun show.
And all the characters are very well written, and the things they do, it's not like, there's no dramatic turns or anything like that, or there's no like shocking revelations.
Yeah.
Everything the character does is, even in just 12 episodes of 30-minute TV show, and it hasn't had a lot of time to develop characters. Nothing seems strange for these people to do what they're doing. It's compelling, but
Yeah.
it's not out of left field. Like, not when people like run up and be like, oh, let's run away to Paris together, or some like cliche where it's like a grand gesture that's written in that kind of, it drives the plot. A Deus Ex Machina, I believe they call it. And
no, that's not what Deus
it's not what
Ex
it is.
Machina is.
No, what is it? Fuck, it's
It's just a brand new plot.
no. There's
'Cause
another thing for it.
I don't know, but Deus Ex Machina is something that
Whatever it is.
wraps up the plot. That comes out of nowhere.
But like just something that is a weird thing to happen just to drive the plot.
Yeah.
None of that happens in Shoresy. Everything is very grounded. It's believable.
Yeah.
It's shot beautifully. It's funny as hell. The soundtrack is
Funny as hell.
Great.
Yeah. But the soundtrack's been great in Letterkenny and in this show.
Right. Which brings us to the next point. Did you see the release date for Letterkenny Season 12?
No.
December 24th in Canada, December 25th in America.
Oh, fantastic.
For the 12th and final season of Letterkenny.
Oh, no.
Which I think they've already announced Shoresy Season 3.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it ends with them being like...
Right.
There's another season.
Right. But I really recommend the show to anyone, and I don't think you have to have watched Letterkenny
not
to
at
see
all.
this at all.
No. Shoresy's not like...
He's a spinoff, but like you didn't need
just
to see...
He's a one-note character in Letterkenny.
He's just a punchline.
He's
you
hilarious,
never see his face.
but it's he's much better fleshed out in this.
You didn't have to see Cheers to watch Frasier. But you can. Like you get a little bit more about who Frasier is, but he wasn't the star of Cheers. I hear the new Frasier is garbage.
I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, I hear it's almost unwatchable.
You're going to do it without Niles? What the hell are you thinking?
More importantly, what's Niles doing?
What is Niles doing?
Yeah. How
He
bad would it
left
have to be for him to be like, no, this money's not worth it for me to come back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce,
Yeah.
my dog.
Well, the dog's long dead. But
David Hyde Pierce isn't dead.
No, the dog.
Oh, he's my dog.
Oh, I thought you meant the dog from...
The dog, he's back.
Eddie
baby.
from
It's
Frasier.
just Frasier and the dog.
No, he goes back to Boston in it. But I've heard I know one person that has
Ridiculous.
watched it, and that one person said it was almost unwatchable.
Oh,
So
I kind of want to watch it now.
I trust-
I'm probably going to have to watch one episode.
I trust their judgment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's sad that Letterkenny's ending. But side rec from Jake and I, both of us.
Absolutely.
Like we were texting each other the day Shoresy came out. I don't think enough people are watching. And you don't also have to like hockey to like this show.
No.
It's great for characters.
You just got to... I would say that they lean in on the scantily clad women pretty hard this season.
There's an impossible amount of good-looking women in Sudbury.
That's true, but it feels like it was much more garish in this season.
Yeah.
Not a condemnation on my part, but it's an observation for sure.
And I think a lot of the, I guess ogling shots, kind of like almost, but they're also plot driven. Like
some of them,
the fact that these women are around scantily clad is a major sticking point for two of the characters all season.
Yeah, Goody and Dolo are having too much sex.
Exactly, that's their problem for the entire
season.
How
when they bring it up to Shoresy, that's the problem. Shoresy just says, "Oh, Goody likes chicken."
Did you like the resolution of the season for Ted Hitchcock?
Yeah,
he got his little happy ending at the end.
I love him.
Yeah, you would.
Why not?
I don't know.
He's
you
so
just
great.
Would. I know. They're all great. It's a great show. We could do a whole hour on Shoresy.
Yes,
but
we could.
won't. So
that's a bonus episode, maybe.
Yeah. Was there anything else to get in? Yeah, Spider-Man's not Game of the Year. Shoresy's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what we're up to.
Yeah. Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human who lives in the world and is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible, and that's important because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially if you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with your therapist, and there's a link in our description. It's betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie. Clicking that link helps you support this channel and also get you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist to see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't fit in with your first therapist, and that's common, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without the stress of insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. I'm a big proponent of therapy, and anybody that knows me can attest to the difference that it's made in my life the past couple years, and I recommend this program to anybody. So if you're struggling, please consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Allie. That's betterhelp.com/Allie for 10% off your first month. And we want to thank BetterHelp for supporting our podcast. All right, let's get into... Fuck, I did it. Have you heard... Oh, God damn it.
I was going over
too
there.
much time on TikTok.
Yeah.
Have you heard of well, we're just coming back from an ad break. So have you heard of the millennial pause?
No.
So the kids on TikTok are making fun of us.
Yeah.
Like, they have jokes about us. I don't know if you know this.
Me and you specifically?
No.
Oh.
Our generation.
Okay.
The best,
Sure.
the greatest generation, some would say, millennials. So they make fun of us for something they call the millennial pause.
I gotta know what that is.
I just found out about it, and I realized I do it, and I've listened back to this. So when millennials like us are recording,
yeah.
we hit record, and then there's a pause.
That's already the funniest thing I've ever heard.
And these kids are calling it, because, like, you know, their TikTok started, and it's just like, hi, my name's Bailey, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it's just like right off the bat.
Instead of you're just staring at the cold, dead eyes
Right, for
of
just
a 35-year-old man
and this
for half
fucking
a
kid
second.
on TikTok was making fun of it. He's like, you know, when millennials are recording things, they'll just be like, hi, so something happened today. And I'm like, fuck.
That's great.
I do it.
They don't understand that when you used to record back in the day,
You had to wait for the light. There was a light.
there was, if you pushed the record button, immediately started talking, you would cut off about a half a sec.
Exactly.
So you got used to that.
So, but we can't tell these children that. They've been
don't
making
care.
fun of us, and it was so heartbreaking.
Kids
Like,
can make fun of me. I make fun of them all the time.
I understand.
Yeah.
But like these little Gen Z bastards, they're like, oh, the millennials don't know how to work. And I'm like, I think I just hate
God.
that they're right. I
When
hate
was
that they're right
working
sometimes.
with the college kids when they came back, when I was
Yeah.
back at Wawa, and I just learned what rizzed up means.
Yeah.
I just kept saying it.
Yeah.
I was like, looks like you're getting rizzed up today. And they're like, you're not using it right. You're not doing it right. It's like, somebody's really rizzed at me, aren't they?
I don't know. It made me really upset to see it because I knew how accurate it was.
Yeah, as soon as you explained it, I was like,
And-
yeah, I know what that is.
The only retaliation we could pull off is, well, you kids don't understand what it was like.
Yeah.
When you had to.
It feels great.
The internet was through the phone,
I don't
and if someone
understand.
was on the phone, there was no internet, and you paid for the internet by the minute. And a disc, you got it Safeway. It had 500 minutes of internet on it.
AOL.
How does that work? How do you get 500 minutes of internet from the disc? No one knows, but we did it.
Do you, I swear, every minute I get older, the more I feel like I'm the man I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
kind of a nice, wholesome way to feel.
I feel so good now than when
Right.
I was 18.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like I'm the age that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. You're finally hitting your stride.
It's been 20 years and I'm finally the age I was supposed to be.
At 18 years old, you're like, why does
Yeah.
everything annoy me and my knees hurt?
Yeah.
Now that you're in your mid-30s, you're just catching up to yourself.
I'm glad I got through all the cynicism really young.
Yeah,
and
it's
now
just fun to
everything's
talk about
just
shit.
so silly. And
Yeah.
It's just the best, kid. I'm having the time of my life.
All right. Well, maybe you kids on TikTok are helping us learn a thing or two. And
I love the kids on TikTok. They're funny stuff.
don't encourage them.
Those children on television are the best.
Let's get into our recommendations for this week. The first one we're going to talk about is my recommendation for Jake, which was an alley-oop recommendation from Amal that wrote into us last week, the 2007 film Elite Squad. This movie, it's a Brazilian police and crime drama. It's from the same director that did City of God. Did you see City of God?
No.
It was good. I remember watching it. Someone torrented it in college. We watched it, and it was like
Who was in it?
a bunch of like people that weren't super famous because it was like a Brazilian movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
that helps. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was just one of those things where we were kind of cool in college because we were watching a movie with subtitles, and you're like, "This is what I'm about. I'm about
You
foreign
had
films."
one of those posters with the naked ladies with the
Pink Floyd tattoos, or
with the paintings,
No.
the famous paintings on their backs.
no? But just because I don't like Pink Floyd, if they had like one of those with like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers records, and one girl's got like the background to Southern accents painted on her, and another one's got "Damn the Torpedoes," I'd buy that poster all day.
Damn Torpedoes is just a picture of Tom Petty.
Yep.
With a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the pictures are it's Tom Petty with a guitar or just the guitar. That's why I pulled up Southern Accents, because that's actually like a
Southern
little
Accents
scene.
was good. Highway
Yeah.
Companion looked really good. What was it
Yeah.
called? Highway
Yeah,
Companion?
Highway Companion
Yeah.
was one of the more
Man, look at
later
me
ones.
know my discography.
It's a fucking great album, too.
I mean, Tom
but we're not
Petty's
talking
one
about
of the
Highway
greatest.
Companion.
Gosh darn it! Let's get back to Elite Squad. It's late, man.
So, this is based on the novel Elite de Tropa, and I do not speak Portuguese, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce a lot of these things. It's set in Rio de Janeiro, which most people know has large slums around the outside of it. It's pretty famous that they're like built up in the favelas, they're called. and it's set in 1997 at the drug trade, and it's going on, and it focuses on the BOPE, the Special Operations Police Battalion, but it's Battalion de Especial whatever. But it's basically
Portuguese.
It's the police's army.
Yes,
police's Navy SEALs.
Ops.
Yeah, exactly. It's Rainbow Six for the Brazilian Rio de Janeiro police.
Yeah. The police suck, and then when the police suck, you can call these people in, and they will
because
those police people as well as take over and protect people.
They're drug dealers, and then there are corrupt cops, and these are the psychopaths that will just fucking kill and torture everyone.
Yes.
So it focuses on one guy, Captain Nascimento.
Yes.
And then two of his. It starts out with, and then there's a time jump backwards. And two trainees that are trying to get into the BOPE, or BOPE. How would you say it?
BOPA?
When you were reading it to yourself. Because it's also BOPA.
Yeah.
Nato and Matthias, and they're trying to get in, and so it shows their training and then them on the job.
Yeah.
Taking down drug lords, taking down corrupt cops. I recommended it to you after I watched it. I really liked it, and before I get too much from you, I will say my thing with it is it was a very intense movie. It was very not visceral would be a good word for it. It wasn't gory. It wasn't like
it wasn't gory.
But it wasn't stylized violence. I think that's a better way to put it. The violence wasn't, looking pretty. It was people getting punched, knocked down, tortured, in various ways with plastic bags and everything, and you fucking felt it. I think it was shot really well. It kind of has that early 2000s action movie, Born Identity kind of shaky
like it was shot
cam.
One of the first digitally, like when digital was starting to become
a lot of,
acceptable in feature films.
Right. A lot of adjusting the saturation in the color and everything like that. I recommend it to you because I really wanted your take on it, because I know it's not the type of action movie you normally go for.
Yeah.
But this one for me was just great. I think it was entertaining, start to finish. I didn't hate the subtitles. I'm normally so anti-subtitle just because I'm very distracted. I think this one was good with it because there was so much action and the sound design and everything was very good that it kept your eyes moving, and that kind of weirdly added to almost the intensity of it, that I was like frantically reading to catch up and then look on the screen to see what was happening. So just like not story-wise, but just watching this movie, it's a fun fucking experience.
Okay.
Jake, what were your thoughts on it before we go too far into the plot and everything? Because I figure we could spoil this. It's an old movie.
I remember Amal in his email said that, we talked about the raid, so maybe they'll like Elite Squad. Yeah. So I was going in to expect a raid experience.
Which is a South Korean action film, right?
No, not South Korea.
Is it not South Korean?
No.
Oh.
It's some Asian Pacific. I can't remember.
Regardless. It's an Asian African film.
Sorry.
Or Indonesian.
I don't know.
It is Indonesian.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I expected action like that.
Okay.
Very, very over the top.
Yeah.
But well choreographed and insane. But this was a drama.
Yeah.
It was more like my expectations were different.
Okay.
From there.
So you had the wrong vibe going into it.
Had the wrong vibe going into it, which isn't the movie's fault.
Right.
So I'm watching the movie and the narration doesn't stop. And I'm not a huge fan of narrators in my movies. So that was another thing, because I want to see the story. I don't want somebody telling me what I'm feeling.
You like a show don't tell.
Yeah, I'm a show don't tell. You're a movie.
Do it, movie.
Not a book.
So what if I were to tell you this, something from the IMDb trivia? The guy that plays Captain Nascimento, Wagner Mora, who's a great actor, he was Pablo Escobar in Narcos. Anybody that watched Narcos. And he was fucking terrifying in that as Pablo Escobar.
Nah.
He also did the voice, I found out while I was researching it, of the wolf in the new Puss in Boots.
Oh.
He was very scary in that, too, as a wolf, chasing a little kitty cat.
Well,
so he was originally, his character Nascimento was supposed to be the secondary character.
Yeah,
it was supposed to focus on the two recruits,
yes,
Nito and Matthias.
That was extremely apparent
after his performance, and they looked at it. They're like, he's the fucking star of this movie. So they had him re-record all the narration and basically edited the movie to change his character to the main character.
Him trying to find a replacement.
So how the movie starts, it shows you're at a corrupt cops are going up to the favelas to deal with drug dealers.
There's a party going on. There's drug dealings happening.
People start shooting, and then you're just in the middle of it, and then the Bopa police come in, and then it jumps you back in time.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 months earlier or something like that.
It wasn't Matthias. It was the other one.
NATO
shoots somebody.
Right. But at this time, we don't know who any of these people are.
And then things are like, oh, no. Like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And if that movie was that, I was like, this is exciting. And then it was like, all right, take a break. Let's go back. Let's go back.
It did have a really... I bet you're wondering how we got here filmed
I don't need that either.
So now you kind of understand why that is. Because they're like, all right, we have to set up context and
doesn't
stakes.
Excuse
and then
it for me.
Okay.
But...
It makes a little more sense,
if you took away a lot of the momentum that you built up for this moment where, like, these elite people are going to have to do some wild shit to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really exciting. I'm ready for that. But it was a lot about how awfully gruesome these people are to get what they want.
Yeah.
And just like the corruption that happens from there when you think you're trying to be a good cop and then you end up being just a vigilante with a cop's permission.
Yeah.
And so once I wrap my head around how they're not set up like the good guys, I started to like it more.
Okay.
Because, like, I was finding it detestable because it had that machismo type thing when they were going through the training camp where you're making fun of people because they're weak and you're a weakling, but you push through. Those are the strong boys. Those are the strong ones.
Right.
But no.
They have the thing, it's like 100 people start and then it's like 3 people make it through. It has that, it's kind of like a cliche. There's a great movie about that called Tigerland. Did you ever see Tigerland?
No.
It's a great old movie about one of the camps where they train people down in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
But just that, it's a pretty cliche thing now, the military training thing.
Being
like,
very upsetting.
Right.
And I thought it was...
Instructor screaming at you, be like, you're going to quit, you're going to quit.
Yeah.
All
Full
that.
Metal Jacket type thing. Where I thought it was romanticizing it, but the more I understood the movie, the more you see what Matthias goes through and how he changes.
Yep.
Because I thought he was being really rude about weed being a problem. And I'm like, it's weed, but dog, that's weed. You're fine.
Right, but it's 2007.
I don't care. It's still... And then... But he's just getting... like indoctrinated into being like, I see drugs and drugs are the bad thing.
Right.
And, you know... I will torture a child to find out who's dealing drugs.
And of course, he was...
he's terrible.
In his defense of that character, I thought they did a good job justifying it because he was like... he was coming after weed for the college kids, which were the privileged kids. You know, they come from well-to-do families and everything like that.
Yes.
And, you know, he was screaming at the college kids, like, you don't see... You know, you think it's just weed. You don't see what happens because when he goes up to the favelas, they have kids as lookouts, and if you know the kid from lookout, they'll hurt their parents. They'll do anything
creating
else.
jobs
out
there. So far,
small business
score
owners.
1 for the drug.
Score 1. Oh, you're on team drugs.
The thing was, like, they were selling weed, but they were also selling. I don't do drugs. I don't care.
Yeah,
but like they're doing crime as well, murders and violence,
extortion,
that involved children,
shit like that. Yeah,
and then. The elite squad were doing murders and violence to children to also stop it.
Right.
So it was a very gray movie. So
and then the cops are just kind of dickheads.
And the cops are just annoying.
Corrupt dickheads. Yeah.
Yes. I love how corrupt they are. It's kind of funny.
It's very blatant.
When they go to the garage
and
they get a new cop car and the guys that work at the garage have already stripped it. And they're like, I fixed 5 other cars with this one car.
The transmission is in that one. We put the wheels on this, everything like that.
And then they're like, take everything out of those cars and put it back into this car.
Yeah, one of them was like, this car doesn't have, I think it was like a catalytic converter. He's like, and this year they didn't have catalytic converter. He's like, that's because I put one in there because it's a different engine. It was a real like government sanctioned chop shop, essentially.
Exactly.
And then the commander was just like, just keep my motorcycle running. That's all I care about.
And just how like awful... If they found a dead body that was like on the border of where their jurisdiction,
the cops would be like, put that in the other precinct.
Yeah, they would just drag it back and forth.
Yes.
Like, so it's it wasn't the movie that I was hoping to watch when I sat down to watch it. Mm-hmm. It made me think more than I wanted to.
Yeah, so the end of this movie, kind of the climax of it is, there's there's a kid that lives up in the favelas. Matthias is going to get him glasses. But at this point, they know that Matthias is a cop, so they're like, we're going to ambush him. Matthias ends up not going. NATO goes instead.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you stay here and be a lawyer, because he wants to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
Matthias was always on the fence about if he wants to be elite squad.
So, and what made it, it really galvanized the ferocity of this group is NATO gets shot. He gets rushed out because as soon as he gets shot, he finds out he has the Bope tattoo on his arm. And the drug dealer's like, get him out of here. What the fuck? You didn't tell me that it was one of them. Like, we'll kill regular cops, but we don't kill these people because they won't stop coming. And that's when it really was just like, oh, fuck. It was a real, what's the are we the baddies meme? It's like, oh, fuck, these people are monsters. And at the point that everyone, the cops are afraid of them. Yeah. The drug dealers are afraid of them. They set it up
at the beginning pretty well where they're like, these are the people that you call to save people. And then it backfires.
Yeah, it's like the opening couple minutes, the Bope police are coming in and yelling at the regular cops, be like, don't let anybody in there. And the cops are like, they think we were going to fucking send people in. Like, we're not going up there. Yeah. So what was your takeaway?
My takeaway was this is a good movie. Yeah. But it's not what I consider watching a lot. Mm-hmm. These types of movies, I think too much about how I don't enjoy police force. I don't like the drug community.
Yes.
And there's things that I just start thinking about that we could fix so that this shit doesn't happen.
We get a bunch of guys with cool berets. Yeah. Train them to be psychopaths.
We just kill kids.
Jesus. So this movie's not for everyone.
It's one of those movies that it's supposed to make you mad.
Yeah.
And I don't like those types of movies. I
love them.
So I will give it a 2.
This is The Big Short, but for Brazilian police. That's why.
Because a mall recommended it. No, because it is a good movie. I can see that it's a really well-made movie. Yeah. And it's just not...
It makes sense what I told you about it being rewritten.
Yes.
To make
It's not structured in a way that
main character.
Enticed by. Mm-hmm. And it's not a story that... the emotions that I feel, I enjoy feeling.
Right.
So it's not a movie for me. So I would say, as far as it being a movie, it's got to be a 2.
Okay. Well, that's Elite Squad. Bless you. Available. Excuse me, I feel like you were holding in that sneeze for the last 30 minutes of your rant.
No.
No? You just let him rip, huh? You don't even try to fight a sneeze?
How do you...
You look up at a light like this?
No, that doesn't do anything.
You don't have to sneeze. No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but if you look up like this, it can go back down.
You know what you do? You say pineapple over and over again.
Pineapple?
Yeah, you say pineapple, and it goes away. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way that's a thing.
Next time, try it when you're trying to sneeze.
Write into upyouralleypod@gmail.com. How do you stop a sneeze?
Yeah. Best way to do it. Pineapple. You'll see. It goes away.
God, now I kind of want to start sneezing. Yeah. I want to try that out. Got to remember next time. All right, let's get into Jake's recommendation for me. The end of his... I'm hoping only 4-week long horror movie thing.
Yeah. We got horror games, bud. We still got horror games to play.
Jesus. 1973's The Exorcist. Obviously, we're going to go full spoilers for this one. I'm probably the only person listening to this who hasn't seen The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be putting it into context with the rest of the movies that we watched. Yeah. And
judging, putting it on a...
So, the story of The Exorcist... there's a little girl and she gets possessed by a demon.
Yes.
Mom's an actress.
And then you call The Exorcist. That's right. Yeah.
And so that's pretty much there's not much else to the movie.
No. I mean there's a lot to the movie, but the story is pretty bare bones. It's pretty in your face.
Yeah.
Because, you don't believe that things are going to be possessed,
Oh,
and
but they are.
Yeah, they do wild things to finally get down to the nitty gritty of being she's possessed by a demon.
Yeah. So this movie was put on in VHS times, probably 5th grade, 6th grade, too young to watch this movie.
Yeah.
I forget the context, but I know, just like everything else that we've talked about the past couple weeks, I know about it from just pop culture.
Yeah.
Like you hear that song that comes in.
Yeah.
You're like, that's the Exorcist song. The movie starts out. I completely missed this.
Throughout until 12th grade, from kindergarten to 12th grade, we had a haunted house that ran out of our garage.
Yeah.
So every Halloween weekend, I would hear the Exorcist theme song.
Just on a loop?
On a loop. When I was trying to sleep, when I was waking up.
Jesus.
It's just a part of me.
That explains some stuff. But so it starts out basically the opening scene. I had to. I watched this on HBO. It's available to stream right now on Max. By the way, Elite Squad is on Amazon Prime. I don't know if we mentioned that. So this is available to watch on Max. I kept having to push
Pause
the button to make sure I was watching the movie because this takes a long time to get into it. I mean, it starts out
you
basically
don't like
with
a slow-paced movie, man.
No, I looked at it 40 minutes in. I'm like, when are we gonna? What's happening? Like, there's no.
You gotta
there's
set
no
it up.
It gave you the full opening to The Fifth Element, where a dude's like on a dig. It's the same, like almost shot for shot, the opening of The Fifth Element.
That's a young dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make-upped him to look old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then good makeup job.
Incredible makeup work.
There's a lot of good makeup work in it.
Yes, there is incredible makeup work. Incredible special effects.
Yeah.
Split pea soup.
Yes. All that stuff. And it was a lot. I forgot that the mom was an actress and she was famous. I remember as soon as I saw the staircase, I'm like, I see that staircase. It's pretty people that live in Northern Virginia and DC area.
We've all seen that staircase.
We've all seen it. And I always knew it was people, even before I saw The Exorcist, people were like, those are stairs from The Exorcist.
If we're driving in from Virginia into DC, we're crossing the bridge, we'll point it out to you.
Yeah,
we'll
it's
be
there.
Like, there it is.
Everyone will do it.
Yeah.
Everyone will do it. Yeah, and then little girl gets possessed. Mom sucks. She takes her to a bunch of doctors that suck.
Yeah.
Some priests that suck. The main priest, Father Karras. He goes and sees his mom, puts his mom in a home. Mom dies, and the demon uses that to his advantage to mess with Dr. Karras.
Yeah. Your mother's... I don't want to say it.
Yeah. It's not great. So
it's a pretty upsetting thing to hear from somebody that you didn't tell your life story to.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that out of a little girl's mouth with a demon voice.
Yeah.
So let's go with the 5 that we watched, going back to Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th.
Oh, right.
Halloween, The Exorcist, and
Texas
Chainsaw Massacre. So
I'm gonna guess.
You want to?
I want to guess your top, and I want to guess your bottom.
Oh, the peak in the pit, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to take a peek at your pit. That's right, buddy.
Stop.
Anyway, your peak. Still, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Your pit.
Yes.
Still, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You're right on that. With the peak.
Yeah.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street is still my favorite. I think Freddy Krueger's a great character. I think it's set up fun. It sets up a fun world that's unlike any other world because, like I said, Halloween and Friday the 13th, basically the same movie.
Slashers.
Yeah. Not much done there. This is my least favorite out of all of them.
Exorcist is your least favorite.
This movie was just
holy
fucking maddening to watch.
That's amazing.
And here's the deal. I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, none of this is scary.
Well,
it was scary when I was a kid, for sure. Made as a movie, yes. This is a very well-made movie. Is it better looking than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Absolutely.
That's debatable.
But I mean,
I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre looks the way that it's supposed to look.
I'm saying for let's say a classic looking, because I think this got nominated for Best Director.
I mean, this is one of the best movies ever.
It's talked about in the top 10 movies.
Yes,
probably on.
It's not even talked about being one of the best horror movies. It's talked about being one of the best movies. Period.
Movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought I was at least having a respect of horror coming out of this, and an attuned to storytelling.
Yes, I think
rather than just being silly, gory fun or being exploitative, it was something that was trying to tell a story, a pretty cohesive story, and a pretty jarring story.
Okay, I think and I don't know the best way to phrase this. I don't think the devil's as scary as the other guys. Like, when it's just the devil, I'm just like,
I mean,
all right, the devil.
There's a lot of
because I know the devil's not real, but there are people with knives that could come get you in your sleep. I think that's what it is. It's just like this little girl, and nothing against the acting. It's very well acted. I really like the priest character that wasn't Father Karras. That was like his buddy.
Yeah, the young priest.
The guy that comes at the end and gives him the last rites.
Yeah.
The mom, she was just obnoxious the whole time and just screaming at people.
Yeah.
Which I understand
a lot of what
from the storytelling aspect of a lot of it's most of it's based on the mom. Just for the first 2/3 of the movie, no one believes that something's wrong with her daughter.
Yeah,
like, oh, it's a mental thing. They take the scans, and the scariest part was what a fucking CAT scan in the 70s was like.
Yeah,
because they shove your head in this little tube, and then there's just like banging industrial noises.
Yeah,
as someone who's gotten scans and stuff in with modern times. They're still pretty spooky, but god damn it, a CAT scan in 1973 was terrifying.
Friedkin said that audiences were more troubled by the hospital scene than they were by the
I can see that
possession scenes.
And the possession scenes are fun, but it's nothing. At the end of the day, it's more fun watching them set up to try to kill Freddy Krueger than it is watching two old dudes read out of a book to kill the devil. Because they're just, and at one point they're reading.
It's a fun question of faith.
The thing about
then your faith is true, and then your faith is also like, wow, like horrifying.
I think it's just one of those things where,
and also, you're a troubled mother who's doing everything she can to help her daughter. And also, it's the worst thing ever. And also, wow.
But also, it's fixed by two dudes reading out of a book.
What that one had to kill themselves.
Yeah.
To get it done.
Well, that's because the other one died of a heart attack because he was 1,000.
Name another doctor. Name any doctor that would be like, well, I'm going to go ahead and treat your daughter. But
you know how many times
I'm going to have to die in the process.
You know how many times Dr. House has almost killed himself saving people? Dr. House does that on the regular.
I haven't seen it, so I'm going to guess anywhere from 0 to 100 million times.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I would put it closer to like 10. But it's just one of those things where it wasn't scary at all. I mean, it was kind of...
The horror comes from the what's happening.
Just how like ineffectual most things are. Like doctors can't help you, no one can help you. Your daughter's like
hopelessness and unknowingness.
Yeah.
If somebody was like, you got to find out the demon's name.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's a Rumpelstiltskin situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
Okay.
I've seen a horror movie of Rumpelstiltskin.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so. It just, there wasn't any scariness of how do we get out of this situation?
Yeah.
Because it was just, let's read out of this book. And so I think, I just don't think it's...
You know what I think?
I don't think it's as scary as some of the other ones. I don't think it's as like this isn't, the disturbing parts of this weren't as disturbing as the parts in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
The scary parts of this weren't as scary as some of the other ones,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw or Halloween had some tense moments. Friday the 13th Part 2 had some good ones too. Friday the 13th Part 1 still.
It's also a different
idea
movie of horror.
Right. I'm just saying to me personally. The music in this, not as good as some of the other iconic music that we've heard.
Man. See, but then again,
even the couple...
That's just like in my head on a loop.
Yeah.
So
I think some of the takeaways from this, because that was kind of your whole point the past couple weeks, was to get me into the classics, the tent poles, the Mount Rushmores of horror movies.
Well, stuff that really shaped me.
Yeah.
Growing up. Yeah.
And this wasn't... Out of all of them, this did nothing... My favorite.
Wow, cool. That kind of makes sense,
Right. So it was not if you had
if you got into this movie,
scary, enemy or demon or whatever, antagonist, solution,
you got horror,
violence. It wasn't number one in anything. My favorite antagonist was Freddy, followed by Leatherface. Disturbing was Texas Chainsaw, probably followed by Freddy, just because I fucking things about sleep like that gets like I'm never gonna run into the devil, but I gotta sleep later. Like that's coming up. I'm not afraid the devil's gonna be there. Some dude with a knife. I've been legit afraid in my 30s
Yeah.
of like down here in the basement, turning off the lights and then sprinting up the stairs thinking there might have been someone down here.
Man.
I'm a grown man. I know that's not true. That's more real to me than the devil. so
I have psyched myself out being in bed, trying to sleep, and being like, somebody could break in here if they really, really wanted to.
Right. But it's
like,
never the devil that you're worried about.
I don't know.
You think the devil's going to come in?
Ghosts never scare me.
No.
You know? I'm not afraid to go into a haunted house.
No.
Or, you know, I don't think I'm going to get haunted or anything like that.
Yeah.
But because I think if it does happen, that's when I die.
Right.
You know? Because I don't believe people when they're like, I saw a ghost. Or like, I believe that maybe they believe it, but when they're like, you know, a ghost tried to kill me and then I killed it. I think that people are just being weird.
Perfect example. I thought that no one can save you was more likely to happen than The Exorcist. Like, if I had to put my money on which one of those I think is more likely to occur, aliens coming down,
And
or
being aggressive.
or the devil.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money on aliens. That's just me. Everyone should believe what they want. How you react to a film is a personal thing. We saw that with Elite Squad. We saw that with Jake liking Twin Peaks, even though it's a flaming hot pile of trash.
It totally makes sense that Exorcist isn't your vibe, because if it was, we would be watching horror movies all together all the time. You know,
it's just not for me.
Yeah,
it's not for me on any set. That being said, I'm glad I did see it.
Hell yeah.
The Exorcist for me is a 1.
Okay.
Just because it was just I had
not your vibe.
Nothing grabbed me about this. I do think in retrospect that Leatherface was funnier than I gave him credit for, even though I don't think he was supposed to be funny.
I mean,
it's just an entertaining character.
Horror is inherently goofy.
It's the difference of sound effects. I think we talked about, I forget who said it, but it's just the difference. You're still trying to get a reaction of people in horror or comedy, and they're so close to each other.
Yeah.
Because what you're trying to do is trick people into feeling one way and then change it at the last second and get a reaction.
It's the unknown.
Yeah.
It's the unknown. And
either
then
make
the
them laugh
reveal.
or you scare them.
Exactly.
So it's kind of the same thing. One thing that I came across in this that kind of threw me off. So I was watching on Max. This is one of those movies there's been director's cuts and anniversary editions and stuff. One of the things I remember from this movie, because it's been parodied so many times, is her walking down the stairs, crab walk. That's not in this thing.
That wasn't in that cut?
No.
Oh, wow.
So that was the most famous, that and the head spinning around and spitting out the soup. That's kind of the cultural touchstones of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So apparently the Exorcist spider walk scene was initially delited from the film's release and restored later. So the version they have on Max is the original version of the film. That wasn't in the original version of the film.
Interesting.
Delighting fans who consider it their favorite sequence. Director William Friedkin said that the scene was a big special effect too early in the story, and then he later reinserted it using CGI, and then he erased the wires. So they filmed that. It was in the first showings of the movie. In the early cuts, he was like, "It's a weird special effect."
I love
it.
it.
He says it takes away the tension too early of whether or not it's a brain thing or whether or not it's a thing.
To me,
where you see her walking down the stairs.
It felt like a brain thing, because she goes down the stairs, she opens her mouth, and more putrid stuff comes out of it.
Right.
And then she's back in bed, in the next scene.
Right.
So to me, it still felt like kind of cerebral.
Right. I just thought it was weird because I was waiting for it the whole time, and then I kept like I said I was doing, clicking X on the PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
To see how much time is left. I was like, when's this? I don't think she can get out of bed anymore. I haven't seen her walk down the stairs at all.
Dang.
I knew all the other touchstones, like her coming down and just urinating on the floor after she tells that astronaut he's going to die. That was probably, I think, the funniest part.
Hell yeah.
Just going up to a guy that's been hailed as a hero. He's like, oh, doing all this stuff for NASA. And just a little girl comes down and it's like, you're going to die up there. Yeah. And she pees on the floor. Hilarious. But not for me.
Dang.
Max von Sydow was great. He was in The Force Awakens.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's The Exorcist.
Do love your Star Wars, don't you, bud?
I always try to fit it in at some point. But yeah, I thought I appreciated seeing the horror movies.
Good.
I'm appreciating taking a break from them.
Thank you for humoring me.
Sticking with it?
Through this.
Yes. Well, you told me that your first intuition was right, because if you go back to the early episodes, episode 1, you had me watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because you said, I'm going to get you to watch horror movies. I know which one you'd like, and you recommended Nightmare on Elm Street. You were right from the jump. Nightmare on Elm Street,
I knew that the only reason you haven't seen that is because you didn't know what it was.
Because I thought it was scary.
Exactly.
That's why I didn't see it. Now, after seeing like Texas Chainsaw and stuff, and being like, okay, yeah.
Now we can see a movie. You will see a horror trailer, and you'll be like, I can see.
There's one I want to see right now.
Huh.
It's an Australian movie called Talk to Me.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's on Netflix.
On Netflix or one of them, but I'm probably going to check that out because I've heard great things about it. The two guys that, two Australian guys, they make like YouTube clips, and this is like their first movie that they did.
Cool.
Some reviewers that I really liked said it was great. The two guys were on Joe Rogan, which was not great to listen to just because they're very different than Joe Rogan, and the two just didn't really mesh very well. But it's good for them to get, on the biggest show in the world. And from everything I've heard, the movie's great, and you're absolutely right. Even as a horror movie, I'm like, I'll probably sit and watch that.
It kind of like gets away the stigma that you're going to be all spooked out. When a horrifying thing to me is something that sticks with you. It makes you go, wow, that was really very...
Like the end of Elite Squad.
It's funny because...
The last shot of Elite Squad is fucking... that
upsetting. Which is funny. I was just about to bring that up because... I'll walk away from Elite Squad being like, I'm mad, but I'll walk away from a horror movie being like, I'm very disturbed.
Yeah.
3 out of 3.
I'm very disturbed. When does that come out on Blu-ray so I will
buy that immediately?
Yeah. So that's good. All right. So thanks everybody for listening to the show. Be sure to follow us on all the social medias like we told you about earlier at Up Your Alley Pod, YouTube.
CTA. Call to action.
Thanks, Jake.
You got to go to YouTube.
See, I wanted to start again, but I know I'm in the middle of something, so I can't millennial pause, but I feel like I'm still doing it. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to finish this sentence, and then I'm going to start. Follow us on your... Follow us on wherever you're getting your podcast from. Just click follow it, do everything like that. Send us an email to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. If you have a recommendation of something we should watch on the show... let's get into what we're going to be getting into next week. Jake, what do you got for me?
All right. So we had a little surprise from you in one of our conversations when you were talking about your favorite video game writing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Red Dead Redemption 2.
I was more taken aback by that because...
You're dumb.
It just sounds like you haven't played the proper games yet.
Oh, Jesus.
What I enjoy about video games is it's a medium where it's a story you can only experience as a video game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think makes incredible video game writing.
This was the point you were trying to put into me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a very awesome game, one of my favorites.
Oh, boy.
You can beat it in one sit through. It's called Return of the Obra Dinn.
What?
Return of the Obra Dinn.
What is it on?
It's on whatever console you want to play it on. I got that on the Switch. And it is...
OBRA space DINN.
Yes. It's a...
This is an old-ass game.
No, it's not.
Oh, it just looks old-ass.
It's just a style.
Oh, it looks like an old Game Boy game. Is that just what they were going for?
Yeah.
Looks like first-gen Game Boy.
You can even change the palettes around.
So it's a 2018 puzzle video game.
By Lucas Pope, who's a very, very good video game writer.
Solo guy that did it like Concerned Ape, just kind of made his own thing.
Yeah. And a ship called the Obra Dinn returns mysteriously with no crew on it, and you play an insurance adjuster.
Fuck me. Are you serious?
That goes out there and finds out what happened so that you can charge appropriately.
Okay, I gotta say, it looks fascinating. I've never heard of this. I love the art style that I'm seeing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, I'm sure this was in the mind of the people that did Sea of Stars, just doing really nice older graphics.
This is, you can take a look at Lucas Pope's other games, and you'll see that he's kind of got a style, and it kind of fits into that.
That's fine. Everyone should have their own little
style.
I'm
saying, like, when you see that, you'll see, like, that's what he's typically doing. Yeah. And this is one of the most, if it's not my favorite written
this looks
video game writing.
This looks cool as fuck, Jake.
If it's not... It might be the best video game writing I have ever experienced.
Really?
Yes. And I'm talking like I'm playing Alan Wake 2, and I think that this is incredible.
Doesn't beat your insurance pirate ship.
But Return of the Obra Dinn has one of the most incredible stories, and it's told in the most
insurance investigator for the East India Company, so it's like old-timey history too? 1802?
Yes.
Shit.
And it's like a mystery.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about this.
Yeah. This is going to be... You're going to be like, wow, this is one of the greatest writing
looks like I can get it
I've ever seen.
Steam and Switch, Xbox One, Mac. Oh, I can get it for the Mac.
Yep.
Do I need... should I get it on PlayStation for the controller? Or is their controller not really...
No.
It's a puzzle game?
It's a puzzle game.
So Switch controller will be fine?
Yeah. I played it on a Switch.
All right.
You should be able to beat it in a sitting, probably 3-4 hours.
Hell yeah.
And it's
Return
fantastic.
of the Obra Dinn. All right, I will be checking that out. Jake, I have music for you this week.
All right.
We've been doing movies nonstop with your nonsense, so we're going to do movies or music now. So there were 3 albums I was debating about since this past month. I've been, they're new albums to me, and actually new albums all in all. The first one I told you about was a girl that popped up on my Spotify recommendations, Carr, C-A-R-R.
Yeah.
Really good, just, kind of punky, a little bit industrial.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I think people should check that out. If you listen to Wet Leg, when we recommended Wet Leg, listen to Carr, the show, or the album's called The Carr Show, C-A-R-R. It's a fun listen to. Okay. The other one that I thought about was the new album that just came out last week, History Books by the Gaslight Anthem. Gaslight Anthem is a great band out of New Jersey. They were brought on the road a lot by Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've
And Bruce Springsteen's on one of the tracks on this.
Yeah.
And their new album, History Books, it's great. It's a great record, but I don't think it would be a conversation starter, which is kind of the point of this podcast, is us talking to each other for content.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what's something that would have been... It came out of left field for me. I heard this album came out on October 20th, so just a couple weeks ago, and it was one of those things. You remember the scene in High Fidelity when Jack Black's listening to the skateboard kids outside's music, and John Cusack's like, "What is this?" And they're like, "It's that." And they're like, "It's really fucking good, man." And they're like almost upset by how much they're enjoying this music.
Yeah, sure. It's one of those experiences, huh?
It is the new album, Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow.
It is a new Rolling Stones album, written by the Rolling Stones, performed by the Rolling Stones. It's not one of those things where they hired ghostwriters to come in. These are men in their 80s that put out an album in 2023.
So
it's good.
Have you listened to the Rolling Stones before?
I am not,
other than their hints?
No, I'm not a Rolling Stones guy. I always kind of wrote them off. I'm like, they're not the Beatles. They're not Zeppelin. They were in that kind of thing where I'm just like, I don't really...
This is the fun thing. They are an incredible band.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yes.
And I will say, I
haven't listened to the new album. I'm into it.
Yeah. Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones. I will say, we could talk about it more next week because I was not... I mean, I like Satisfaction, Start Me Up.
I mean, like
Brown Sugar is wicked problematic now, but
try their.
I've heard the greatest hits,
albums.
but I don't listen to anything.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, I think my dad gave me a T-shirt to wear to bed that was like their Bridges to Babylon album when that came out in the early '90s. But I never listened to the Rolling Stones other than that. But just some reviewers that I trust their opinion, just like the new Rolling Stones album is unironically a good record.
Yeah.
And it is. I think everyone should listen to it.
Cool.
It's got some well-known guest stars on it. Paul McCartney is on one song. Elton John is on one song. But yeah, it's written by all of them, and it's great.
Cool.
It's just great. Everyone should listen to Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones, and I'm going to play Return of the Obra Dinn. This is going to be a interesting episode next week.
Bud.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Be sure to tell your friends about it. Subscribe to all the things we told you about. Jake, thanks for coming over. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.